On June 28, 2024, the Supreme Court made one of the most important decisions in modern history. The Supreme Court's decision to overturn Chevron deference could profoundly affect how child support agencies operate and enforce regulations. For decades, Chevron deference has allowed these agencies significant leeway in interpreting ambiguous laws and regulations, often with substantial impacts on the lives of parents and children. Chevron deference, originating from a 1984 Supreme Court case, mandated that courts defer to federal agencies' interpretations of ambiguous statutes. This principle meant that agencies like the Office of Child Support Enforcement, OCSE, had broad authority to interpret and enforce child support laws as they saw fit. With this power, child support agencies could create detailed regulations to enforce support orders, manage interstate cases, and ensure compliance, often without significant judicial oversight. However, with the Supreme Court's recent decision to overturn Chevron deference, this landscape is set to change dramatically. The ruling in Loper-Bright Enterprises versus Raimondo means that courts must now exercise their independent judgment when deciding whether an agency has acted within its statutory authority. No longer can agencies rely on their own interpretations of ambiguous laws without substantial judicial review. So, what does this mean for child support agencies? Here are some potential impacts. 1. Increased judicial scrutiny. Courts will now play a more active role in reviewing the actions of child support agencies. This means that any regulatory actions or interpretations made by these agencies will be subject to more rigorous judicial scrutiny. Agencies will have to provide clear statutory backing for their actions, reducing their ability to interpret laws broadly. 2. Legislative clarity. The burden will shift to Congress to ensure that child support laws are clear and unambiguous. Without the cushion of Chevron deference, ambiguities in legislation will need to be resolved by lawmakers, not agencies. This could lead to more precise and narrowly tailored child support laws, but it might also slow down the legislative process as more detailed statutes are crafted. 3. Challenges to existing regulations. Existing regulations and practices of child support agencies that were based on their interpretations of ambiguous laws may now face legal challenges. Individuals and advocacy groups could contest these regulations in court, arguing that they exceed the statutory authority of the agencies. This could lead to significant changes in how child support is enforced. 4. Reduced agency autonomy. Child support agencies may find their autonomy significantly curtailed. They will need to operate within a much stricter interpretation of the law, relying on clear legislative mandates rather than broad regulatory authority. This